The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What is up? It is time for Cowboys Storyline, Thursday, December the 14th. Happy birthday, David Hellman. He's got his own podcast out there now. David obviously was with us for, about 9 years. Was on the break with me for a long, long time now. He's doing his own thing out in L.A. for Fox. He's got his own podcast. They're putting him on the air. He's doing a great job over there. So happy birthday to Dave. We're going to talk Cowboys and Bills. I mean, what a game this is for the Cowboys. What an opportunity this is for them to keep this thing rolling. It felt like, and I'm guilty of this, felt like when they were 5-3, I remember just kind of pushing, they're going to be 10-3. 10-3. You can look at the schedule, boom, boom, 5 in a row, they're going to win. Well, here they are. But I felt like I wasn't the only one that thought that way. But for some reason, we just kind of stopped right then. Like, let's stop at Buffalo. Well, here we are. And not to say the Cowboys can't win this game, of course. I mean, they can. I think they're a better team than Buffalo. But I think that's where you kind of just drew the line, and I did, thinking, all right, well, we'll see how things go at this point. And it's going to be one of those games. I think it's going to be a really tough game. I think, the Bills are a very tough team to figure out. Like, who are the Bills? When Brian Broaddus always says, hey, and by the way, his birthday was 2 days ago, so happy birthday to Brian. But when he always says, hey, the NFL is a strange lady, this NFL. She lives in Buffalo, or at least this year. She's renting a place in Buffalo because that's pretty much what it is. Buffalo they can beat the best team in the league, and they can play up there with the best, home or away, and then they'll lose a game, to Denver, who's playing pretty well too. But they'll lose some games, some head scratchers as well. So you never know what you're going to get. But usually, when Dallas comes to town, I'm sure Buffalo, it only happens 8 years. They'll definitely be ready to go, be fired up for that one. All right, we're going to do things a little bit different today, too. I mean, we're going to obviously take the calls, but I am going to take a little bit of a break here. As you see, my stack of books. I was talking about it for a few weeks now. I'm going to do it today. We're going to do a little book review. Some of my favorite books, some of the books that I've written, some that, from my friends and family. So just some of my favorite books. I'm going to kind of promote that a little bit. Who knows if maybe it spurs an idea for a Christmas gift. Who knows? All right, let's start, though, like we always do with phone lines. You can call 888-855-2297. You can text at 817-290-3298. All right, let's start us off. We got Joseph. He's in Keller, Texas. Joseph, what's up?
Hey, Nick, second-time caller. Probably you may remember I called a few weeks ago about the Bills game I went to where Tony had 6 turnovers and he came back. So I just wanted to call since it's Buffalo week and just.
Are you going?
Had a little quick. What's that? I am not going this week. I am.
Okay.
I have plenty of time to talk today because I am sitting home after I had meniscus cleanup yesterday. So
not good. Not fun.
But a couple of quick things. I actually forgot to tell you before that game. I was at the Anchor Bar, which is famous for inventing the wings.
Sure.
And who rolls in about 3 hours before game time, other than Mr. Jerry Jones, and sitting there and signing all kinds of autographs and eating some wings. It was hilarious.
That's awesome.
A couple of quick things from the yesterday's Another 88. A little bit of tongue-in-cheek here, but hopefully CD changes numbers so that way we can have 3 Bryants that wore number 88 with Antonio a few years back, and then we can have Martavius next year.
Mm-hmm. Well,
obviously never happened.
Yeah.
We could all break out our jerseys again, and they'd be active.
Well, I actually saw I was in the pro shop the other day, and I saw all the 88 CD Lamb jerseys that are out there. And so for him to change numbers, it's not going to be cheap for him. I think he's good with where he is right now.
Sure.
And, I think it's cool. You're right. Antonio Bryant was one. Jackie Harris, tight end from early 2000s. And a guy named Ron Sellers, I think, back in the 70s, had a big touchdown catch to beat the 49ers in the playoffs. He wore 88, but obviously the big one right now is CD, because I mean he's about to shatter a lot of these records that Irvin and Dez and have definitely had.
Absolutely. Well, two more quick things. I did a little bit of research. Not saying anything against Jonathan Hankins. I think he's great, and we need him, and all those things. But I found it interesting. Last week, you're giving up 4.6 yards per run for the entire game. But after Mozzie came in, or after Hankins went out, I should say, only 3.33 yards per game on 9 attempts. So that was interesting. Hopefully we can keep that up, especially in the cold weather in Buffalo this week. And then a question for you. We've worn the white helmets a number of times. It's been a while, but I don't remember ever wearing them with the outline. Has that ever happened before?
With the outline?
Yeah, obviously Sunday we wore. It had the regular star on it, not just the star
right.
without throwback. Have we ever worn white helmets with the outline before?
I don't think so. I've not seen that. I mean, because I don't think that was the helmet. So I think what they and I don't know a whole lot about the uniforms. I know you guys really care about it, but I mean, to be a throwback, it's got to be kind of a throwback. And then I think you do have an alternate uniform, so I don't think they want to dip into an alternate uniform. And so that is not the uniform. A throwback, the regular star on a white helmet, it would have to be a throwback. But
that was what we had this past week.
We had it Sunday.
Right.
Yeah, the regular star on a white helmet.
On a white helmet. Okay, you're asking when's the last time they've done that?
I don't remember them ever doing.
They started last year.
Last year, Chris
we did once last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once last year.
All right. Cool. That's all I got.
Cool. All right. I never understand the uniform craze, but I don't know. It's a huge deal. I mean, fans love it. They love to know, they think it matters. They think what they wear and all that kind of stuff matters, and maybe it does. I mean, I always heard all that blue jersey curse back in the 70s and 80s. It's like, well, they played on the road. I mean, it was hard to win on the road. It just like it is now. I mean, 7-0 at home, 3-3 on the road. I mean, when teams make you wear the blue, it's probably because it's a tough place to play. It's not really because of the blue, I don't think, but who knows? All right, Justin in California is our next caller.
Hey, Nick, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, man. I'm good. I gotta say I've been loving this stretch of wins. I gotta embrace it all. But I started thinking the other night. I was watching the Dolphins game, and I see Tyreek go out, and the whole offense just turns to trash. And I'm like, okay. I started thinking about our own team, and I was like, all right, well, is CD or Tyreek? I want to pick your brain about that. And then I have one more statement. But if CD was to be non-existent in our offense, would that basically crumble our whole offense? And I know we got a lot of players, a lot of playmakers. We have Cooks. He's actually like the quote-unquote Tyreek guy that is supposed to bring speed to our offense. But CD seems to be that dominant force, and he seems to be the one that makes everything happen. So what do you think were to happen if CD wasn't as dominant as he's been playing?
Whoa.
Would everyone else just kind of go away?
Hold on. Let me ask you two different things. You're talking about him not on the field or not catching passes. Because two different things. If Tyreek Hill if a guy leaves the field, it changes things. If he's just not getting the ball, but he's still demanding double teams and all that attention, then he's still doing his job. He's just commanding a double team, and you're like, all right, I'm going to go over here and let other people try to beat you. Two different things. I think they can win that way as long as CD's out there. He's established himself. They want to sell out to stop him. Fine. You can take him away if you want to, but it's at what cost? So, but if he's not on the field, I think that changes things a little bit. I mean, now you're focusing on Cooks and Gallup and Tolbert and Ferguson, those guys to make a lot of plays. I just don't think he would be the same. I don't know how you would expect them to. But I mean, if there's a big oak tree or any kind of piece of wood you want to knock on, I think let's do that. I mean,
for sure. I mean, I just think because the Dolphins have, basically they have really good talent too, like in other positions, and it just was not showing up at all. As soon as Tyreek left the field, it was over.
Yeah.
And second thing is, there was a caller yesterday that said, the look of the Cowboys, the way they come out on the field, the optics of it, the way they don't look like they have that dominant focus. I don't know if you remember the call yesterday. I want to actually say that this is finally most of this year. I want to say after the Chargers game or during the Chargers game, they have actually had a better look on their face from afar. They don't have that we're kind of coming from behind, or it's kind of a close game and we look sorry type of look on their face. Last year, if you remember, they just looked like they were in a daze. If they weren't up ahead instantly, they were just on the sideline kind of looking up at the scoreboard. And I know it's just optics and we don't really know what's going on.
Right.
But this year is different. They are bending and not breaking, and they are fighting ever since that Chargers game for tooth and nail for every single thing that they have, and I'm actually loving it. So I don't know what this guy saw in the past. I was 8 years old when they were winning Super Bowls. I don't really remember, but I just want to say that they're looking better than ever, especially just the look on their face. They don't look sorry, and I'll hang up and listen.
All right, thank you. I didn't understand that either. Like I've said, opinions are everyone's got their own opinion on what they see. But can you imagine if you were like a fan of the Panthers, and you're like, I don't know about the record. It's not that great, but man, we've got the look. You look in their eyes like they are ready to play. I mean, yeah, I know we've won one game, but we got that look. I mean, like nobody would care. They'd be like, care what look you have on your face. I mean, Eli Manning's going to the Hall of Fame one day. I mean, he looked lost his whole career, but he wasn't. So I think the results are kind of what matters there. And, that's fine. I mean, maybe I didn't understand his point exactly, but I think this team has whatever the look is, it's working when they get on the field, and that's obviously what matters the most. All right. Bob in Rio Grande Valley is our next caller. Bob.
Morning, Nick. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good. I'm like a lot of Cowboys fans right now. I'm a little bit concerned. I think this injury to Jonathan Hankins that came at a very unfortunate time. And I don't think the light bulb stays on all the time yet for Mozzie Smith. So my concern is, and my question for you is, some of the writers have referred to a guy that's on the practice squad, a big fellow by the name of Carl Davis.
That's right.
What do you know about him, and do you think there's a possibility that this guy can come in and really help us? That's my question for you, and I'll take it off the air.
Great question, because that's probably going to happen. Carl Davis. This is why they brought him in. This is kind of why the NFL has changed the rules to allow veterans to be on the practice squad for situations like this, because you get an injury to a guy like Hankins, and you want to fill it with, you need some help, need some experience. So, yeah, you can go to get a guy right off the street like a Carl Davis, but the rules before, he wasn't allowed to be on the practice squad because he wasn't eligible. But now you can bring a guy in. You know what? Maybe we need him. And it's been, 6-7 weeks. He's been out there. He's been practicing. He's in football shape. And he's pretty big. He's a big dude. But, you can elevate him if you want to. And it's perfect because you can keep him on the practice squad and elevate him 3 times. That's probably going to be about how many weeks you need before Hankins comes back. So Carl Davis has played a lot in the league. 7-8-year veteran, really big guy. Can eat up some space. That's kind of what they're looking for. I think Mozzie's still going to play. Mozzie's going to be out there for sure. But still, really good opportunity to see what Carl Davis can do. And it's one of those moves that it's why you do it. We kind of joke when Stephen Jones says, player acquisitions 365 days a year. Well, it is, and this is why, because you don't always just react when things happen. It's basically it's having a little insurance, have a little foresight. You know what? Why don't we get this guy and bring him in case we need him, in case Hankins goes down or Osa goes down or Neville or somebody. we got a guy that we can, kind of learn the system. And here it is. So Carl Davis will probably be a guy that you'll see elevated this week. Maybe not to the roster, but probably to the from the practice squad. They could do that 3 times, like I said. So good stuff there. All right, Tony in Alexandria, Virginia. Tony.
Hey, Nick, am I on?
You are on. What's up, man?
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hey, so I've been waiting kind of a couple weeks to kind of get into this question and wondering, because we've been playing at home for like the last couple of weeks, but it centers around road trips. And first of all, Nick, I can't remember if you said it. Did you play any varsity sports like in high school or anything, just out of curiosity?
Played basketball.
Okay, so did I. So, and I played varsity in my senior year. And one of the best things, in my opinion, that I liked about being on the varsity squad was not only actually playing in the game and winning, but was actually traveling on road trips. And the way that our school worked is you had the 4 teams. You had JV boys, JV girls, JV boys, then varsity girls and varsity boys. Well, the way how it worked is the JV teams would leave like middle to early to mid-afternoon, travel to the away school because their games would start first, and then the varsity teams would leave like literally right after school and take a second bus down to the away school. And I'll never forget how the look on the faces, because we'd all be like in shirt and tie when we walked into the gymnasium and the doors would open, all the opposing fans would be looking at us like, oh, here comes the varsity team into the gym and stuff. And I was wondering as far as like the road trips and everything, because I've again wondered about this. Like in your experience, since you've been with the Cowboys and through various coaches, just curious how the road trip experience is. You guys normally always leave at the same time. You guys stay at the same hotels. Do you personally have any free time, like when you're when you travel to the away city? And if you can maybe distinguish between the coaches, because I think like with Garrett, I think they had, when they traveled, they had like players wear shirt and tie, because I always watch the little videos where they're like walking to the plane and stuff, versus now it looks like it's a more of a relaxed outfit that goes when you guys are going to the plane to travel. And so I was just wondering if, in your experience, can you touch on that? And maybe if you have a funny story that you can recall regarding a road trip. I know Brian Broaddus always talks about, and I believe it was the trip from Buffalo that they came back where the plane was a bumpy ride coming back, and he's like, nope, that's it for me. No more traveling to away games. So anyways,
thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate the call,
so I'll hang
Tony.
up and listen.
All right.
Yeah, I'll hang up and listen. Thanks. Bye.
Well, I mean, that's a whole show. I mean, just road trips. I mean, stories and things like that. Yeah, I got some stories. Can't tell them all, but yeah, I've got some stories. I mean, I'll try to answer this kind of quickly. Every coach kind of does things differently, and the coaches have done things differently. I mean, the same coach has done things differently. I mean, Garrett was here 9 years. I mean, he switched it up, and there is no. I mean, with the Cowboys, you can't just sing Montel Jordan all the time and say this is how we do it. It doesn't work that way, because you play on Sundays, you play on Thursdays, you play on Monday. One year you played on Wednesday night. I mean, you have to adjust. And so to just have one set of rules like this is how it's going to be, it doesn't work like that. Now, you're right. McCarthy kind of has a little bit more of a relaxed fit for them, and they have travel suits now, and there's been times when it's been shirt and tie, and the Cowboys, I don't know what other teams do, but I mean, the Cowboys have they travel some media, not the writers, but some of the local media, the TV guys, the cameramen, some of the radio people. So that there's and then there's sponsors as well on the trip. So it varies, and it also varies. Sometimes you've gone straight. The team goes and practices with a walkthrough at the stadium. That's been kind of rare. Usually you just go to the hotel, and we don't really say where the Cowboys are staying. It's not a public thing, but everyone always knows, because when we get there, there's a lot of fans there in the lobby and stuff like that. So, it's. I mean, I'm trying to think. Should I tell the Emmett story? I'll hold off on that one. There's been. Oh no, it's funny. I'll tell the story. So my first year with the team. So second year team, 2000, walking into New York, tons of fans. And there's fans lined up on both sides. And so I'm like 24 years old. I mean, I'm just a young guy with this Nike gym bag is my travel bag, it's terrible. And Emmett is walking right in front of me, and Emmett's got this really nice, roller bag or whatever. And he turns, he's like, "Let me see your bag." I'm like, "Let me see my." I thought he wanted me to carry his bag. I was like, he goes, "Let me see your bag." And so I gave it to him. So he's got one bag with his, and then he's got my bag, and he walks through all these people. And of course, I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if what's happening. Come to find out, Emmett's turned. He had his hands full, so everyone's asking for autographs at the moment. He was like, "No, I can't. I got my hands full." And then he kind of laughed, dropped my bag on the ground, and kind of did this, funny laugh, and he walked off. And he was like, I probably wasn't the first person he's done that to. And I'm a young guy, and I'm like, I don't know if that was disrespectful or the coolest thing ever. Like, I don't really know what happened, but that was kind of funny. Now, I'll say that Emmett's definitely signed his share of autographs over the years, and there's a lot of stories where he does some really cool things for fans. But in this particular case, we just got off the plane. We were going in the hotel, and he was like, "Nah, I got my hands full." So I thought he might have been playing that more of a joke on me than anything else. But that's about my story there. We can probably get into road trips later on, and maybe a different show. All right, Bruce in Houston, what's up?
Hey, Nick, that's pretty cool. You have to gig Emmett about that and say, "Hey, I appreciate you taking my bag."
Yeah, Emmett Smith has carried my bags, so
that's a first. I thought he was going to give you his bag and tell you that.
That's what I thought. I didn't know what was happening. I really didn't know. So
that's a good story. Thanks for sharing. The guys, we're talking about Mozzie Smith a little bit. I'm glad he's getting to play. I hope Hankins is out just a week because he's really played well this year. But I think it's going to be good for Mozzie. I've been watching him, trying to zero just on him on the replays and retaping it. And it seems to me, and I'm no coach, but he's just a little slow off the snap. And it seems like once them offensive linemen get their hands on you, you're in trouble. Because in Michigan, he just out-muscled everybody. So, but I was thinking, too, about Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Those guys were higher draft picks than Mozzie, and they didn't really light the world on fire their first year either, did they?
Right. No, not really.
I don't think so. I mean, and Carter supposedly was thought to be the number one pick.
Yeah, top pick.
For a while. So, so I think, the fans have been on him tough this year because, you do expect, or at least I've always thought, your first round draft is going to start. I mean, or what are you drafting him?
Right.
But
right.
It is what it is. So I'm looking forward to him and Gallimore,
Neville,
and this guy Davis too coming up. I think they can solidify that for a week or two. But my real question is, listen to the Talking Cowboys before, and they were talking about MVP with Dak Prescott, and I think he's having one this year. Do you think? Of course, next year he's on the hook for what, $59 million or something?
51, I believe. Yeah.
Big number. Could you ever see? And I'm not trying to be negative Nancy here because I definitely wanted to win the Super Bowl. If he doesn't, because he's playing great now, but I think we all, as Cowboy fans, we want to see this in the playoffs and championship game at least.
Mm.
If he becomes MVP, I mean, Jerry's probably going to re-sign him, even if he doesn't take us to at least a championship game. Do you agree?
Yes. Yeah,
I do too.
I think Jerry's going to re-sign him. I mean, he's playing phenomenal right now. So
he is, and it seems like, and I don't know if it was getting Trey Lance to light a fire under him. When someone's potentially going to take your job, you seem like you play better, and obviously we all know contract years.
Yeah,
they play lights out. So I don't know if there's a combination of both of that, or him just getting finally comfortable with McCarthy's system. So
yeah,
I think it's a combination of all that. But can you just talk a little bit, and I'll hang up and listen, what kind of contract? Because he's 30 now, so you probably couldn't do a 10-year with Dak just so that you could have some voidable years. But it's going to take a 6 or 7 year, because I would imagine this is going to be his last contract. But maybe talk about that, because you definitely got to sign CD and Micah for sure, and the other guys will just have to fill in. But
True.
Great show, Nick.
Thank
I'll
you.
hang up and listen.
All right. Yeah. Again, another topic that could be on another show, like the whole show. I mean, what does Dak's contract looks like? Tricky because, he's never been one that wants to, have a lot of years, but that's how you do it if you want to, give him the number that he's looking for, but without it just killing your cap. So, I could see an extension there of 5 to 6 years maybe. But I think they don't have to do anything because he is under contract next year, and it is for a lot of money. But and that's going to be changed regardless what happens. But if he keeps this up and maybe wins MVP and I think more success in the playoffs, and if they can take him to another level, that will probably help him as much as anything. But if that happens, they're going to sign him. If he goes and wins MVP and goes and wins the Super Bowl, I mean, Jerry's like, here's the pen. I mean, here you go. I mean, you can write your own check. No, he'd never do that. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, it'll be through the roof, and no one will really care. If he can do that and take this team to a level we haven't seen, that would be great. All right, let's go to Anthony in New Jersey. Anthony.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Hey, very good. First time calling in to the show. Love all your work. Love everybody, what you guys do there. It's awesome.
Thank you. First time caller. Caller.
Hey, just a quick question. I just hope that, the defense just kind of focuses a little bit trying to contain Josh Allen from running around, because I know he's a big mobile quarterback. So hoping, they kind of concentrate a little bit more on that this week. That's all I really wanted to say. Thanks, man. Appreciate your work.
Thank you. All right. That was Anthony in New Jersey. I think Chris might be on the phone. There we go. Here we go. Anthony, New Jersey. If y'all could see, and I haven't really seen it because I'm here, but I can tell what we put Chris through on this show. I put him to work back there, and I appreciate it for sure. Josh Allen running the ball, running around 100%. That's going to be an issue. He's just fourth in the league, I think, among quarterbacks in rushing yards with 375. And some of them are designed, but not really. I mean, he really does a nice job of looking, seeing, taking off. So that's going to be a key, man. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that seems to be the type of running quarterback that really hurts them the most. It's not the guys that do the design stuff. It's the ones that have the ability to, when nothing else is there and then the middle's wide open, and go get it and go get the first down and move the chains. That's been the one over the years that's really hurt this team, and that's what I think Josh Allen does very well. So that will be interesting to see how that kind of works out. All right, we're not taking a break here. We're gonna move along. Going to do a little bit of a book review that I've been talking about. These are some of my favorite books. These are books that my friends have written, and some that I've done. So I'm going to kind of go through a little bit there. I think we'll start it off here. I got a really, really good friend of mine, Drew Myers. He's actually spoke to our team. He's a motivational speaker. I met him in college. He's probably the reason. He is the reason. He's the reason why I'm probably where I am today, because he got me the job that helped me get this job. So, everybody kind of has a guy like that. Drew Myers is my guy. He wrote this book here. It's called The Taco and Chocolate Diet. And let me tell you, it has nothing to do with diet, nothing to do with tacos. It's really, I guess you would say, a self-help type book. Basically, his thing is live a bold, adventurous, intentional life. So he does a great job of just kind of saying, hey, do it the right way. And that's one thing I love about Drew, man. He's done about 100 things. He's been a football coach. He's been an editor at a newspaper. He's had about 10 jobs, a volunteer fireman. So he has a really, really good message all the time. So Drew Myers, The Tacos and Chocolate Diet. So pretty awesome. All right, another guy that actually worked here a little bit, his name is Kerry Lofton. He's got a book that probably relates to just about anybody. It's called Money Talks: How to Confidently Price your work. And he's done some work with us. He's a videographer. Now he's doing some freelance stuff. He's negotiating prices all the time. But it's really more than just that. It could be how to negotiate your own salary, how to get your worth properly and to do it in the right way. Because it's not easy. You guys know it's not easy to talk to your bosses about getting more money, and then when they say yes or no, then you got to go back to work. I mean, how do you do all that? So this book, he's got, it's not the biggest book in the world, but those are nice. Money Talks, how to kind of price your work, from Kerry Lofton. You can get this on Amazon as well, also, or on kerrylofton.com. Really, really good stuff there. All right, this one is from, again, this is not a sports book at all. This is from my dad. My dad wrote a book just a couple of years ago. Tim Eatman wrote a book. It's called Nursing Homes. And one thing that he does, he calls himself Dr. Sunshine. Dr. Sunshine, he actually goes to nursing homes and sings with them. I got a chance to actually visit with him just a couple of weeks ago. Went into a nursing home. Pretty interesting experience for sure. Singing songs to them. We're talking about 95, 100-year-old people that don't really know a whole lot what's going on, but they start singing music, and the song power of music, big time, is evident in here. And he kind of shares his experience over the years to kind of get him to this point. So Nursing Homes by Tim Eatman. You can also get that on Amazon. All right, Cowboys books. This is the one that probably sells the most for me. This was my second book I ever did. If These Walls Could Talk. It's been like 10 years, just a variety of different stories. Obviously Romo here on the cover, but lots of things. You probably heard most of these stories over the years, but this is one that keeps doing pretty well for me. I get a nice little check every now and again. I'm like, oh, people still buying this. If These Walls Could Talk. It's definitely the most successful one I think that I've done. My first one that I did, though, that kind of opened the door for everything. Art Briles, Looking Up, kind of did his story, his first book. If you got an opinion about him, don't really care. Probably means you haven't met him. Really great guy, and it certainly was the reason why I was able to do some of these books, and his story is fascinating. Who knows? Maybe there'll be another book that'll be another book down the line with him. All right. Jock Taylor, who has been on our shows here recently, Media Mash, this book just came out. Coach Prime. He got to spend a whole year with Deion down at Jackson State a couple years ago. So really the ins and outs of a whole season there with Deion Sanders at Jackson State, HBCU, and just all the challenges that Deion dealt with there, probably right before he went to Colorado. So this book, John Jock Taylor, you can also get this on Amazon. Coach Prime, really cool book. I can't wait to read. I haven't read this one. Can't wait to read this one. All right, this was my third book. Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Texas. This was 1 year of football when I almost killed myself, honestly, this year. I followed a high school team, a college team, and a pro team, obviously the Cowboys, for a whole year. Just talked about the ins and outs of just everything and how different things are from these levels. But you might be studying for algebra, you might be taking a SAT, or you might be studying for the Giants. Who knows? But everything is different at these levels, but yet they're all kind of the same at the same time. Was watching the TV show Modern Family one night, 11 o'clock at night. Modern Family, saw this show, 3 different families kind of related, but not the same. And I thought, I'm going to write a book just like that. Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Texas. Really loved that one. And then the last book, the fourth one I've done, this is a pretty good Christmas gift right here. 6 decades of Cowboys football, the 60th anniversary. This one, I shared this one with Jeff Sullivan, another writer. We kind of split it up. All kinds of pictures, cool stuff there. Just every year. 60 seasons, 60 players. We ranked the 60 players, and it was cool writing that with Jeff. We did a little bit trading. He's like, I'll take 1984. And I'm like, I'll trade you the Ice Bowl for 87. It was kind of fun. It's fun to do that and kind of go down memory lane. That one, that's a big, nice coffee table book. Lots of beautiful photos in there. 6 decades of Dallas Cowboys football with myself and Jeff Sullivan. So that's some of my books there. Books, some of my favorite books. You can, if you got any questions on that, hit me up on Twitter. But yeah, all of those I think you can still get on Amazon and some different other websites. All right, good stuff there. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Thanks for letting me do that. G in New Jersey is our next caller.
Nick, so, man, great stuff today. One of my favorite Cowboy books of all time, because I'm kind of like a 90s, I became a fan, for that run that we had in the 90s. So my favorite book is Boys Will Be Boys, man, by Jeff Pearlman. And I read that, and it's some really good stuff in there. But real quick, man, I have a story of being a fan and kind of meeting the players based off of what you were saying earlier, your Emmett story, which was tremendous. In 2017, the Cowboys had a rookie on their team, Louis Neal. So I got a chance to go to the game at MetLife, Cowboys at the Giants. And right before I hit the turnstile, there's a lady there. And she goes, "Would you like to meet the players?" And I'm looking at this lady crazy, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "If you like to meet the players, take this card and go over towards that tent over there in about half an hour." So me and my buds, we waited half an hour, and we look at the card, and it says family visiting pass. So we said, whatever, let's give it a shot. We go over to the security in front of this tent, and sure enough, they let us in, and we see the lady sitting down. So I approach the lady, and I go, "Are you a relative?" And she goes, "I'm Louis Neal's mom." So I sat down, and I'm like, "Are the players going to come in here?" And sure enough, about 5 minutes later, all the guys start walking in, Dak, Zeke, Coach Garrett at the time. It was such an amazing experience for somebody that would not have that opportunity. And the following year, we kept the cards, and we said, let's give it a shot next year. We're going to come back and see if the same cards work. So I got to security. They let me in because they thought I worked for the team, but they wouldn't let my friends in because they didn't have like the warm up that I had on.
So
I asked Taco. I asked Taco Charlton, who was there talking to some people. I said, "Taco, can you let my friends in?" And Taco looks at the security guard and goes, "Hey, let those three guys in." And we had the same experience the following year, Nick. That's just some of my two stories, getting to meet the players. But real quick, Nick, I have a question for this week. Do you think there's a chance that they elevate defensive tackle Carl Davis for this game because of Hankins' injury?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Not everybody listens to the entire show. They come in late. Yes, we've been talking about Carl Davis. I think it's a great week to put him out there. So cool story too. Can't say I know the player you were referring to, Louis Neal. Never heard of him before, but maybe it was preseason or something like that. His name doesn't ring a bell. But Taco Charlton is probably the best play he's ever made for letting G in like that. Even though maybe that's not a great play. Honestly, cool story for you, but can't just be letting anybody in just behind the scenes. That's where issues happen. But fortunately, nothing happened there. Cool, but great that you got a chance to see some of those players. All right, Pastor James. He's in Midland, Texas. Pastor James, what's up?
Hey, Nick, how's it going today, brother?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing well. I was listening and concerning nursing homes and stuff. When I was younger, I was a certified nurse's aide for over 10 years.
Yeah.
And so I understand, the patience and the love that it takes, to work in a nursing home. And I understand about the music because I worked on the Alzheimer's wing. And
yes,
we would use music, and we would also use physical therapy. And I did a lot of those things with the residents, so I understand that as well.
Yeah, it's amazing how you think some lady who's 98 years old and doesn't want to eat and doesn't know her name so much, but you start singing Jingle Bells, she starts tapping her foot, she starts nodding a little bit, she can maybe sing it a little bit. It's pretty amazing the power of music, and especially what you can recall from even your earliest of days. And so I know it's not a Cowboys book, it's not a sports book, but it's one that's real passionate to my father. And my dad, Tim Eatman, he's really the reason behind this whole show. He told me 2 or 3 years ago, he said, "You know what? You should do your own show like some of these other call-ins with the fans. That was his idea, and it took a little bit to get there. People don't always listen to their dad right away, but he was right about that. But this is his book called Nursing Homes, and it's also kind of a story of his whole life and how he got to that point. So.
Right. Well, tell him we appreciate him coming up with the concept for your show.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He calls himself a StoryLine backer. So because he supports the show. It's the StoryLine, you get it, supporter. He's a StoryLine backer. See if that catches on. But yeah, he kind of coined that phrase. That's what he called himself the other day. So I thought that was funny.
Okay. All righty. Well, yeah, we definitely appreciate that. Okay, and now for my 3 favorite wrestlers, I have to give you those.
Okay. Well, the fact that you put an A in there and called it wrestling, I mean, I know these are going to be good. Let's go.
Okay. First of all, of course, is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
Okay. Second is Kerry Von Erich.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes, that was my boy. I loved the Iron Claw.
Yeah.
I mean, any time the Claw came out, I was jumping up and down as a kid.
Yep. Me too. I love the Von Erichs.
Yes, and then lastly, of course, is The Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
You and I could have gone to some wrestling matches. I like all these guys.
Absolutely. Okay, and then my forgotten cowboy, before I get into what I want to talk about, was one as a kid that I remember that was really not talked about a lot. He wasn't a big-time name, but Mike Hegeman.
Mike Hegeman.
I mean, he was he was a hard player.
Scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, against the Steelers. Mike Hegeman, 58.
Yep. Yes, 58. Yes, and so. But now my favorite cowboy, one of my favorite cowboys, I get to see him every day, and that is Everson Walls. I wore number 24 in Greater Midland Football League in Pop Warner because of him. And he was just always one of my favorite cowboys, and it's good to be able to hear him talk every day.
Yep.
But now, okay, I don't want to take up too much time, but
real quick here.
Okay, Mozzie is coming along, and I hate that Hankins ended up getting hurt. But I feel like if they just give him an opportunity, let him get his feet up under him and stuff and all that, he'll come along. And I'm agreeing with the caller from earlier. I feel that this team is moving from a finesse team into more of a power team, and we just need to keep following the mindset of the coach and just get tougher and stronger. And I think we're going to be okay.
All right, I like that. I mean, I appreciate the call, and it is. I think you're right. It's becoming a tough team. I don't think you can live in Green Bay and be a coach there for a team in Green Bay if you're not tough. You've got to be mentally tough to play outdoors, play these tough games like that at a high level. So, he knows what a tough football team looks like. He's dealt with teams that had to go with a lot of different injuries, so he understands depth as well, talking about Mike McCarthy. So, I definitely believe that he's developing a tough team, and it doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't hurt that you have surgery 3 or 4 days before going onto the field, and it's never a doubt. It was never a doubt that Mike McCarthy was going to coach the sidelines, not just coach, but be there on the sidelines. He's not going to let that hinder him, and it didn't affect the team, and they were so locked in about it that they kind of forgot. They kind of forgot that anything was different. So, Dak is still. We talked yesterday in the locker room. He's still kind of kicking himself a little bit. He's upset that they didn't give him a game ball, for doing that. They were so just excited about the win, beating the Eagles and all that, and he said, "Hey, this no big deal. I'm gonna be everything's going to be normal." And so sometimes when that happens, you kind of forget that it's really not normal. He's saying that, but it really wasn't. I bet he didn't feel normal, but still was out there. It was great. All right, let's move on. We got Dallas. He's in Duval over there in Jacksonville. So Dallas, what's up?
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
I'm great. What's up, man?
All right, man. I love the show.
Appreciate that.
I like to give a shout. I like to give a shout out to my newborn baby granddaughter, Grace, here in Jacksonville.
Awesome. Congrats.
Jeremiah, congratulations. Happy for you.
All right.
Nick, just one question. Maybe you can answer it for me. Is there something physically wrong with Mozzie? 58. Is there something? I mean,
physically wrong?
Yeah. I mean, because you see the tape, you see him not moving. Like, literally, like, the snap is gone, everybody's gone, he's still there. I mean, literally, he was still sitting there or squatting there or whatever.
No. I mean, let me share a phrase that was outside the locker room for 4 seasons when Bill Parcells was the coach. He had all these motivational sayings. One of them that he would say is, "Knowledge is confidence. Confidence lets you play fast." That was it. And so it's all about, it's a mental thing. He's nothing wrong with him physically. It's about awareness. Where do you need to be? Where do you need to line up? Where am I going here? And when you're thinking, you're not playing and reacting as much. When he gets it down where he's just reacting and playing, he's going to be faster. There's nothing wrong with him. It's just it's a transition he's got to make. I don't think there's anything physically wrong with him. He's just learning how to play football at the highest level.
Okay.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I don't think anything's wrong with him. Is it disappointing? Yes. You would expect your first round pick. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. He's the first round pick, and sometimes you take first round picks over another guy because he should be able to step right in and play, and that hasn't been the case. Let's not forget, Neville Gallimore's playing better than he's played before, and Osa's playing out of his mind, maybe at a Pro Bowl level. So it's hard. It's hard to get on the field, but I expected Mazi to play more than this.
Okay. Are you coming down to Miami next week?
That's the plan. Yeah, I haven't missed a game since 2000, so I really hope that I'm still there for that one. I'll be there. All right.
Okay. Thank you again.
All right.
I love the show.
Appreciate it.
Happy holidays.
Thanks. You too. You too. I don't think Dallas liked my answer there. I think he's disappointed. You can be disappointed in Mazi Smith. I mean, I get it, but I mean, I've said it over and over. I just feel like he's going to be, I think he's going to be fine. But yeah, the transition's a little bit more than you wanted to, and I also understand this is the second reference to him in this show, but I get it. Defensive lineman from Michigan is not playing well like you thought. Oh my God, he's another Taco Charlton. Well, we'll see. I mean, Maybe he will be, but I doubt it. I bet he's going to be better than that. And let's not forget that Taco Charlton is probably the worst first round pick they've had in the last 12 years. I mean, they've had really good picks. Most of them make the Pro Bowl. Most of them are all pro. Since 2000, I think it's 2010, every first round pick other than Mo Claiborne and Taco Charlton, well now Mazi, haven't made a Pro Bowl. Now Tyler Smith hasn't made one. That might change here in a couple weeks. This guy's playing out of his mind at left guard, and I kind of think that's going to be his spot, is left guard. I think he's playing so well there that I'd have a hard time thinking they move him. Maybe they do whenever Tyron moves on, whenever that is. Tyron's turning back the clock as well, and I don't know who's going to win Comeback Player of the Year, but I think Tyron Smith's name should be thrown in there. Don't even know who the candidates are. It's usually an injury type guy, but he's been banged up. But man, he's playing really, really well at left tackle. All right, great show. Appreciate it. Sorry we didn't take as many calls. It took a little time here. Wanted to share some of my books, my favorite books. So appreciate you guys letting me do that. Tomorrow, be right back at it for another edition. We'll talk a little bit more about Cowboys and Bills. So for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We'll see you tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline. See you.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!